Hello, everyone. Eva Bussum here. I hope everybody had a beautiful weekend and everybody's excited for the day. I didn't even check to see. Ugh. Fingerprints everywhere. Fingerprints. Clean my glasses real quick. Wow, it is just a really sad time in the scrapbooking industry. I got a little bit of news that on top of Close to My Heart closing, Pinkfresh Studio brand I love, is near and dear to my heart. Um, Good folks, absolutely good folks over there, are putting a pause on their scrapbook side of the business. I was like, uh-oh, what's going on there? But who knows? Actually, let me see if I can find that. What's in here? What colors do I got in here? I don't know if I have anything. I'm looking through my watercolors. We're going to do a full watercolor technique. You know what? Those two might work. So I think we're going to do that. And I put my cups somewhere. Oh, there they are, back here. Because life is never perfect. Some Post-it tape, but I've got it thicker. I'm going to use that. And what I mean by faux watercolor is we're going to use our ink, but we're going to dab it off so that it gets a little bit. Oh, that's what else I needed, was a piece of paper to dab off. Dab off. We'll take a piece of 80 pound to dab off. We're going to be working with Fluffiest Friends today. That's the first thing. And this little stamp right here is normally a nest, but I'm going to flip it upside down. And then the next part we have on here is our little beaver friend. He's so adorable. So our colors are going to be pecan pie for our base. And then a little bit of watercolor paper. Nothing else. Just really simple. Most of it's going to be colored in and filled in and everything else. And the colors I'm going to choose might seem a little odd. Might seem odd. Might seem like it works. But we're going to use pecan pie. I've got that in a mini. Mossy Meadow. Like green field colors and like muted animal colors and stuff like that. So the beiges, the browns, or that. And then for our like watery sky kind of thing like that, I'm going to go with Coastal Cabana and Pretty Peacock. And I know you're like, Eva, Pretty Peacock's pretty dark. Yeah, but I'm going to be watering it down, so I'm not going to be using as much. For a little added shimmer, I'm going to be using one of my mini watercolor sets, and it's called Chameleon Mini. And these little bit shades here and a little bit of this lightest one in the sky. Just a little bit, not much. Just a little zhuzh. I got this watercolor set, as I said before, on Etsy. I don't remember the content, the watercolor artist name. Because part of it's cut off on the label back here. But I think it's Yuli or something like that. So I'm going to spray these so they can be all functional by the time I get to that. Oop, don't want to spray my label. So I'm going to spray those so that they're ready to go. I am going to be using a number two watercolor brush. I just need small strokes. I don't need a lot. And then I have some water for my bowl just for cleaning my brush in between. And then on top of having water in my bowl, I like to use a baby wipe. So I'm going to grab a baby wipe. And this is just for my stamps. So we're going to have that set off to the side as well. Just for our stamps. Nothing else. Just to keep them clean. Everything's going to be done with a small block. And I think it'll turn out really cute. We're also going to put these little bees in there, and those bees will be in black once it dries. So our stamp sets today are going to be Fluffiest Friend bundle. It has the die set with it. They're so cute. I love that little beaver. And if you don't want the heart, just don't stamp the middle. You can kind of draw on his hands and stuff like that. And then our sentiment is going to come from Happy Labels photopolymer stamp. So let me get those out of the way. And I'm not going to take any extra time to chat today. Unfortunately, I gave it a couple minutes at the beginning. I really need to jump in and get this started. So I didn't even check my stuff for lives. And go back and view channel. And that's the one that's live right now. It's just for questions. I can't see the teeny print on this, so I have to put it on there. So I'm going to get my mount straightened. Oh, it goes this way, actually. I got it wrong. I got it so wrong. So hang on while I flip it. I just want to make sure I'm not too close to that power button. There we go. And I've got it a little matte so it doesn't mess up my desk. But if you want to add something a little larger, something a little bit, you know, bigger that's going to protect more of your desk space, go for it. So I am actually going to start with the pecan pie on my beaver. And this is one of the simplest painting techniques you can do. Oh, he's off of the stamp. Okay. So when I say stamp off, I don't mean stamp off to get the color off. I mean stamp off so that you don't got so much ink on the stamp that it becomes a mess. So, and I'm just going to add a little spritz. Little bitty spritz. I'm going to try to get into a dry area. So I'm going to pick it up and look at it. And I do have to have enough room to move around him. So the only thing I'm stamping independently is the beaver. So you can see there he's got lots of color. I'm going to clean up my ink pad. And then I'm going to use my block now as a stamp, as a ink holder. So I'm going to get my block, flip it over so the water's at the bottom, not at the top. And I'm just going to add one little squish. That's all we need. There's more than enough water on the stamp itself to show you what I'm doing. So I'm just going to bring this down a little bit so we've got our light is a little closer. So I'm going to dip my brush in my water, make sure it's clean, because sometimes I don't put away my brushes clean. And I'm going to kind of tap off on the side of the paper, not where I'm working at. And I just want to add just a little bit of water, just barely any water to work out that color. I'm not using any. If I find like an area where I wash away, I'll use some of the extra color, but that's why I didn't spritz that. We're going to use just the water that we've got. And I want to go along the edge of him, get his little feet in, and come back in, and I'm just barely tipping the brush in there. Oh, thanks, Kathy. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like and share. I'm not being bossy. I'm just requesting. Just requesting. I always feel like it's bossy to ask somebody to share your video. So you see how I've got the blotch right here because it kind of got a little blotchy. I'm going to lift that up. I'm going to fold me a tissue. So a facial tissue. And I'm going to pick up the blob. I'm also going to pick up the little blob right there on his arm. So this is where I said I would use more of the ink directly. So I'm just going to add in a few of those lines back in. So I'm just picking up the ink and fixing his arm. Now, once you're done and it's completely dry, you can go back, put this into a stamp positioner and set it up and restamp it again if you want to. I don't feel like there's a need to. You know you're using watercolor. You're using it as watercolor, and you're going to have some areas where it just doesn't look the best, and that's okay. Also, those areas you can kind of cover up with your color and stuff. So I'm going to add a secondary color to this. Oh, what do I got? I got that. I'm going to add a little bit, just a corner. Can never get these things open when I need to. I'm going to get a little corner of my stuff here in my crumb cake. Just a little bit for a secondary color. Just a little bit. That's all we need. The most fun will be on the next page when we get to, I'm going to put a little bit over here by the, because it's like you don't want it to be all one note. You don't want it to be all the same color. So you kind of want to add a little bit of color. If I had a darker color, I'd add a darker color. And then you might get some little pieces of the watercolor paper in it. Just leave it go. So I'm going to mix those together. I'm going to come in here and try to fix my mess up. You're going to get blotches of water. You're going to get all kinds of stuff. It's not perfect. It's imperfect. So, and I kind of want to make this tail a little bit darker. So I'm bringing in some color. Not a lot of water, just a lot of color. A little bit. My brush is wet, but that's it. Okay, so we're going to come along the side here. You can still see the detail. Oh, I should probably pinch in. Oh, too much. Right there. You can still see the details on the tail, but they're not messed up. So clean that off. I'm going to go back to my lighter color here and just kind of dab it in the middle. Just dab that around. You can see I made a mistake, and a rookie mistake, and I got a brush stroke in there, so got to get that rubbed out. And again, crumb cake and pecan pie. Like I said, once I get the other darker colors, the darker earthy tones and stuff like that, I'll be able to add more. And then for his nose, I'm going to go in a little bit darker. And then I'm going to clean my brush real good. I'm going to tap off, and I'm going to get me some of that crumb cake for the rest of it. Just a little bit of color. Nothing too crazy. I'm going to tap my napkin on there. Get a little bit more of the two colors together. Come in the center. And then I'm going to add my brush onto the block and just kind of come in again on these dark areas. So you see I'm just tapping. I'm not actually doing anything other than tap, tap, tap with my brush tip. It's not brush strokes. I'm just trying to regain some of those details like I removed when I added water to the ink. Okay, so he's got a little darkness underneath. I'm going to wipe this off and do... So I wiped it off so I wouldn't have any ink on it, and then I'm just going to push that down again because I feel like we still need a little bit more. And then brush into the water and then onto my napkin over here in the corner. And I just want to create a little bit more dimension with a little bit more color, a little darkness here and there. You see how all of this got wiped out right here? So I'm going to bring that back in. A little bit more dark on those ears, inside the little ear holes. You can go one of two colors. You can go either really dark or you can go really light. Most people go like pinks and stuff like that. He looks so cute. And then I definitely want to darken up his feet because Beaver's feet are almost black. Okay, so that's it for that color. Now I said I wanted to add a little sparkle. So I'm going to get rid of the ink on my block. So we'll clean it up real good and get it. Oh, thanks, Kathy. I like coloring this way because it doesn't take any kind of imagination or anything like that. So I'm going to clean my brush real good. Make sure I've got clean water coming up. And I'm going to lift a little bit of this onto my brush. I don't need a lot. I'm going to lift the next color up onto my brush. Just a little bit. That's all I need from there. And just a little bit of this warm color. I'm going to come in those areas and come down. I really didn't need that much. I'm going to blend it out a little bit. It's a little too strong for me. Just a couple areas. It does not need the entire thing to be covered with sparkle. Just saying. I'm going to come down in here under the arm. And then I think I definitely want to do his tail and his little nose too. Because he might be a beast, but he's a sexy beast. There we go. So we're going to set him aside to dry. And I'm going to clean up everything else. We're going to get that to the side here. We're going to close up our good watercolors. Make sure those don't get messed with for the moment. So then we're going to bring in our actual background page. Okay. So I said we'd need a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, I got to pinch out. Oh, in. There we go. Sorry about that. I don't know what the heck happened. I got to replace that mount. See, it's doing it again, and I don't understand why. Okay, I'm just going to make sure my Post-it tape is long enough. It's probably because I put my hands on it. And I'm going to pull this off for a second because I can see better. Actually, I'm going to measure it. No, that's a pen. My pen. No, that's probably too small of a space. I'm going to wing it. I always wing it. I don't know why I try to be professional. I'm not professional. So I just want to be able to have a space where I can put my sentiment without it being watercolored. Oh, that's crooked. Nope, too much. Turn it sideways again so I can see it. So that looks about right. Okay, and I know it's a huge piece of Post-it tape, but we don't need that much. And it will probably get in the way more if I leave it than if I just remove it. Plus, I've kind of had that roll for about 5 years, so I don't think it's going to hurt my feelings. Wish they'd come out with a 1-inch tape. Ooh, that'd be beautiful. So we need a little space on the bottom for our sentiment. So I'm going to leave a little room right there. And then we're going to start with the background. So background colors are as follows. We've got a little bit of green. We're still going to mix in a little bit of chrome coat. And our sky is going to be Coastal Cabana and Pretty Peacock. And we're going to start with the bottom because it'll be really simple to do. So again, I'm going to use a block. I'm going to add color to said block. And again, you don't need to fill it up every inch. That's a lot of color on there. We're probably not even going to use all of that. Because we're going to use the pecan pie on the little bird's nest that I'm going to flip upside down. So here's the bird's nest. I'm going to flip it upside down and we're going to have it one here and one over here and then our beaver in the middle. So what I needed on the bottom was a little bit of, what shall I call it? We're going to call it yucky moss, sewer water, you know, the green moss that sits on a lake kind of thing. And we're just giving it a background color. That's all we're doing. We're just dabbing at the bottom to give it a little bit of a background color. That's all. Because otherwise the pecan pie is just going to sit in the back on the colors and that's going to be it. You know, you're not going to have anything else. So I'm just adding it to the bottoms here. That definite where things start and stop isn't as important as just outlining where you want to have your stuff. Because I think a lot of the time, see, I didn't need that much. I could have gotten away with a corner of one. Okay, and you see how I don't have it along the edge? I'm going to go back and I'm going to fix that because I want a hard edge. I don't want a light edge. I want a hard edge because that's adding like another color or another texture. And I like that. So I'm going to let that heat up a little bit. I'm going to clean things up with my baby wipe. And again, you can do anything you want. You can use baby wipes. You can do anything however you want to create the technique. So one of the things I'm going to do right off the bat, y'all are like, Eva, you are cray cray. So I'm going to pull that tape off. You see how it's imperfect? If I would have left it there, this little piece would have gone further down. So now we're going to work on our sky. And if I had a gray, I would use that. If I had a lighter blue, I would definitely use that. So for my sky, I'm just going to go ahead and give myself a nice little space for one color. And then I'm going to flip it around and use the other space for a little less of the pretty peacock. Got it here and there. Eyelash in there. So a little less of that. It's a little more than I wanted because I want to make a third color. So we always have the single colors we use. So I'm going to move that out of the way and I'm going to spray straight down. I don't want to spray at an angle because I got my beaver over here and we don't want to get him all yucky. So we're going to spray straight down. That's all we need to do. We're going to pull that off and then we're going to turn this upside down. Okay. It's these days where it's like, oh yeah, choose a number 2 pencil or a number 2 paintbrush. Sure. No problem. You know? And I also want to spritz the background just a little bit, just to help move some of that color. Okay? Just a little bit. So I'm going to start with my lightest color and just start adding it into the background. Spritzing it makes it a little bit more movable, makes the color move a little bit more. If I hadn't spritzed it, it would be very dry. And I'm just going to add a little bit of color here and add a little bit more water. I want just a little bit more water right here. Just so I can work with a little bit of it, change it up just a little bit here and there, not all the way down. And then down by where my grass is, I want to add just a little bit of the blue. Just a little line. I'm not looking to touch the green, but I don't want it to stand too far away from it. Okay. So come in with our other color here and get that all blended out. Blending the two colors now so they kind of look like they're dark and moody. Starts a little lighter and gets a little heavier. So I'm going to flip this. It's a great way for you to create with color without costing yourself, oh, I have to buy the perfect paints and I have to buy this and I have to buy that. So I really like doing it like this. I've done it like this for years. My paper is a little dry there, so I'm going to just give a little spritz. We're going to come in and we're going to add just from that bottom area. And like I said, my other images are going to be right on top of this. So we're just going to come right up, blend these two a little bit here. So we've got like a third color. And I'm going to come all the way over the edge over here. I'll try to get this actual color. And then we're going to fill in any little spots that we didn't get perfectly. Especially up here at the top. There we go. Okay. So then I'm going to take my wipey and I'm going to clean up all of the gunk that I made at the bottom of this. Probably need a second wipey, but that's okay. And in as much as I'd love to heat set this, it isn't realistic for you guys to truly understand what's going on here. So I'm going to take my tissue, again, facial tissue, not a paper towel, doesn't leave any marks behind. It doesn't take away from what I'm creating. It just takes the extra liquid away. And it will hold a lot because it's meant for, you know, tissue. So let me get this out of the way real quick. Got to get another wipey to clean off my block. Too dirty, they don't work. Okay, so that should be the last time we use the block. Should be. We might need a little bit to fill in our... So we're going to go ahead and put these on here, and I'm going to stamp them in the pecan pie again. And then I'm probably going to go over a few times with between pecan pie and mossy meadow. So I'm going to do this side first, and I'm going right down to that bottom portion of it. Just like so. So it looks like a bunch of sticks. Bunch of sticks. And overlap it so that you can see the outer edges of it, but you're not really paying attention to what's there. So we're going to come to the other side. And it doesn't need to be perfect because you're going to cover it up. Oh, thanks, Kathy. I appreciate it. You're going to cover up the middle section with the little fluffy guy that we already did. So don't worry about it being perfect. I'll put that a little low compared to the other side, but that's okay. So 2 times each with the pecan pie, and then we're going to do 1 time with the mossy meadow. And the reason I'm doing mossy meadow is because I have mossy meadow on the bottom, and I want to bring those colors together, and there's no better way than to do it like that. So don't forget to clean your stamps in between. You still want clean stamps. Okay? So, and then if you're worried about it, just kind of tap it against your hand to get any extra moisture. It'll pull the moisture off of the little crevices and stuff. So now mossy meadow. I am going to watercolor that a little bit, but not as much as I did like the beaver or the top or anything. And I'm going straight across, only a little bit thinner. So we get that little bit more of a, oh, what's going on over there color. You know. So we just want to make it a little bit skinnier. We want a few of those branches to stick out. You can see where that guy's working his butt off to make himself a little dam. So, oh, I forgot a spot on here. That's okay. I'm just going to hang it off my garbage bag. Okay, so the last thing I want to add to the sky is some little butterflies. And I think I'm just going to do those in the mossy meadow as well, because they'll be dark enough. Nobody will know. So let's bring that back in here. And we're just going to add them to the sky. And then... oh, they're up. 2 of them are flying upside down. My bad. Which way? This way. So a couple of them are flying upside down, but, you know. It'll be fine. Nobody will have a problem. Okay, so that's our background. So one more thing for the mossy meadows. We're going to go ahead and grab our sentiment from Happy Labels, and I wanted to use the You Are My Happy Place. I just have to find it. Oh, there it is. Okay. And we're going to put that diagonal on here. I'm going to make sure I got it right in my hand, because if I don't, I'll put it upside down like I did last time. But you can kind of see why I left the space down there. And if you get it crooked, just remember there's enough space down there to cut a nice little strip to cover it up with and fix the oopses. There we go. With watercolor paper, you're not going to get a perfect print. But there's our background. Like I said, I can come in here with a watercolor brush and just kind of blend that out a little bit where you still see the lines, but you're not seeing everything. You understand? Come in with a little bit more water on here. So just kind of blend it out so you don't see everything, but you still see some of the stuff. So blend out some of that. You still see some of the lines, but not all of the lines. A little gentler on the outside, the edges. You can see here, I clearly did not get this one far enough like I did the other. So I'm just gonna paint those little edges a little bit. Make sure everything's nice and blended. There we go. Okay. So we're gonna clean up this stamp. We're gonna die cut our beaver, and this card will be mostly done. So I might fussy cut that actually, because that would probably be less noisy, but let me see if it'll fit in my little mini cutting machine. I don't like the big one while I'm working. It's just too noisy. It's a great way to create a background without trying too hard. You saw there. I started with one color, added a second color. Don't forget to clean off your little mat too. Give everything a little love. Just give it a quick clean. It will survive whatever you throw at it. And then let's cut out our beaver. I'm going to see what I need to do to it to get to it. So I do have the dies. Like I said, you know, heck with it. We'll just do it and it'll be fine. So our beaver's still a little wet from the glitter. So when you cut this, make sure that you add a tissue or another sheet of cardstock over it, because you don't want that glittery stuff to get on your cutting plates. My tape. So we're just going to add a little bit of low-tack tape to hold it down. I got to get me some of that clear stuff everybody's using. I love how quick and easy it is to color like this, and it doesn't have to be perfect, and I think the imperfect is what makes it the best of the best of the best. So I just want to see if this is going to fit in my small machine, because if it does, that'll be great. Looks like it will. So let me trim this up with it on the thing here. I'm going to trim it. And I know that I need to be at 2.5 no matter what. So that's where I'm going to be. I'm running into the die. I'm going to move it over. I got a little bit more extra space on the other side. So we'll cut off just a little bit on the other side, and we'll make ourselves 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches is as big as my small die cutting machine will do. I have a little itty bitty sidekick. I love this thing, but I'll be so happy when I get back to Stampin' Up! And are able to get myself the 3.5 inch die cutting machine from Stampin' Up! It's going to be a blessing. See, and that's why I don't like to use these machines, because they move so much. I also want a new camera setup, but, you know, it's like, everybody knows the answer to that one. Yeah, I can't afford it. So we'll pop out our little die cut here. I think he's just about big enough. He is! I love it! I love it when a plan falls into place, you know? So the only thing I want to do is I kind of don't like that little edge, but you know, that's the way it goes sometimes. If I had gold, I'd cut a little skinny piece. If only we were exactly. I mean, if I was rich, there'd be a lot of stuff going on. Yes, it would. But let's get him popped up. And I kind of want to roll his tail forward a little bit. And you don't need anything. You just want to take your hands and use it like this. So just like that. So we're going to get some dimensionals. We're going to dimensional him up. And at this point too, if you wanted to come back and do a clear over this and add a little water in the front of it, you could. But I just think he looks super cute. And then I'm just going to double up 2 half ones to go underneath his tail because I like when things stand up. I did order the mini dimensional, so I'm excited to see how those are going to work, because cutting up dimensionals is the worst thing when you have arthritis. So yes, it ran away. I could probably go with another one, but that's okay. So we're just going to put it underneath his tail, like so, and then take the backing off the bottom piece, like so. But his tail still sticks up, and I love that. A little bit of dimension. Will it still go flat for mailing? Yes, it will go flat for mailing. Okay. And then, oh, I was looking for my crumb cake. I was like, where did it go? I just had it. So for our base, I put the other one there. We've got the pecan pie base, and I thought it was such a nice neutral color to go with everything. I'm actually going to bend this over, and instead of dimensionals, because of what it is what it is. It's watercolor, and it's got a little bit more dimension than what I'd like. Actually, it's pretty flat. I can't believe that. You know what? I'm just going to add dimensionals to it. Just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. It's flat. I was like, I didn't soak it. Like, most of the time when I watercolor like this, it's all over the place. And I'm like, I dislike it very much. Oh, I missed one on this other side. I'll get that one too. But don't be surprised if you do some kind of watercoloring. Be brave. Yeah. If you do some kind of watercoloring and you get it all wonky and stuff like that, don't be surprised, because it happens. It happens to the best of us. And again, I love this type of technique because it works with any stamp you have. It's a great, quick way to color something. Very little water, very little mess, as you can see. Let's make sure we got the right side. It's like, am I even? I'll be dang. So there's my card. Are my bees perfect? No. Is my beaver perfect? No. So you got a little shimmer going on? Yes. Yep. I call that water scum. From the ponds. Pond scum. There it is. Pond scum. But 3 little stamps and a sentiment. So 4 little stamps is all it takes, with a little bit of imagination and coloring, to get yourself something amazing and wonderful. Now, my last spot is the sky. I didn't really do anything with the sky. I wanted to save that. So we're just going to come in with a mostly dry brush. We're going to tap off a little water, because we've already got water in here. Got a little bit of this color, and I just kind of want to follow along on some of the little spots. Give it a little bit of glimmer and glitz to it. Just a little bit. We don't need a lot. We don't want to ruin what we've already got. Well, that rhymed. That's kind of sucky. And then a little trail. Just a little trail behind our bees. Worrying factions, you know. Just a little itty bitty trail is all we need. What side you on? You like that. And your stinger's going this way. So a little trail. Make these ones a little bit darker. But just a little bit. I mean, you could basically take your brush and just go over the different spots and stuff. So I'm going to tap off just a little bit. Go over a few spots with the brush almost completely dry. These have almost dried out. So let me see if I can add just a smidge of water. So just a smidge of water. Let's change his eye color with a little glimmer. Little glitter here. And that's it. That's all it takes. Do I need to do all of that? No. I mean, you could make a beautiful orange sky or pink sky or any color sky you want to do. Oh, thanks, Kathy. I appreciate it. You can do the skies any color you want. That to me is the best part. And I mean, it doesn't take much. This is basically crumb cake. I always say crumb coat. I don't know why. Crumb cake, crumb. We got Coastal Cabana, Pretty Peacock, Crumb Cake, Mossy Meadow, and Pecan Pie for our colors. And then for our Stampin' Dies, we've got the Fluffiest Friends, and then our Happy Labels. And I love both of these. Now, when Fluffiest Friends came out in December, I'm going to bring it down a little bit. When Fluffiest Friends came out in December, I was on the fence. I was like, I don't know what I would do with this. Yes, I know how to color, but it's not a matter of knowing. It's a matter of wanting. You know, do I really want to color? No. You know, because I don't have enough artist markers to do stuff that way. I'm going to get these out of here. So you guys don't have this big, humongous circle on my spot. Let's see if this one does it. Mm-hmm. Oh, right there. Yeah, see, circle. I'm going to stop moving it so it won't get anywhere. So, of course, because I used a few of my favorite colors, I want to go ahead and add just a couple little zhuzh. And I think I'm going to use these little ones in the Pretty Peacock. And we'll add them in between the bees up here. And then one all the way over here next to the sentiment down here. Now, was my line perfect? No. No, it's not. I'm not one of those people that worries about perfect. Did it turn out cute? Yeah, it turned out cuter than I thought it was going to do it. I was like, oh, please. It's one of those ones where you go, Heavenly Father, help me. Because it's going to turn out to be a whole mess and everything else. Let me put my stamps away real quick and then we will talk. So, big thanks for people who answered my question on which stamp set we should use today, because I thought that was a really good one. Great choices. Everything else, I pull this down. I gotta put this down and I gotta flip this. So great choice on the multiple choice picture, which stamp set, because it was going to be Fluffiest Friends or, and I think, I don't remember the other one, but Fluffiest Friends won. And I just want to show you those little trails are really light. And I think it would be really good, really cool for an outdoorsy kind of person. If I had tree stamps, I could have added some tree stamps in the back. I could have done a little bit. If I had more colors, I could have added a couple of stumps, just like, you know, they look up, but they're not tall enough for branches and stuff like that, or add a little green in there. Lots of ways to do this. Do I think it's a really cute card? Yeah, it turned out really cute. So I'm happy with that. What do you guys think? One of the biggest things, where's my glasses at? One of the biggest things that I deal with when it comes to color isn't how to color. That I've got down. I understand how it works. Does it always work because of my arthritis? No. Watercoloring, the reason I like that so much is because it's very little effort. As far as like crayons and pens, you're using the same motions. Whereas watercolor, you can get a little loose here and there. But one of the things that I like about this is where I started. Believe it or not, a card I made in 2013. My husband has 2013, 2014. Let's say 10 years ago. We'll say 10 years ago, just for the safekeeping. I made this splatter card for my husband with Stampin' Up! Re-inkers. And it turned out gorgeous. He still has that card today. And watercoloring with re-inkers is how I began. I did not start with a watercolor set. I hadn't watercolored or did anything since high school. And I look at it as it's an adventure for me to create with watercolor, because I know that no matter what I do, even if I make a mistake, I can still fix it. That's the best part about watercoloring. Anyway, Thursday, I don't know what I'm going to do Thursday yet. I hadn't planned it out. I didn't feel good this weekend, so I didn't plan out my week like I normally do. Let me see if I put anything on my sheet. Did I put it up here? Yeah, I put it up here. Let's see here. Oh, man background. I did pick out this week. So I've got myself a little printout that I did that I found. So I printed out a bunch of them to keep me going. And I'm going to do a guy card on Thursday. It might be with the same set and show you how to go from, it's a guy's card, but it's still got a lot of stuff in there. You know, you might want to be like, really? Is it a guy card? I'm not seeing it. Versus this is definitely a guy card. So my guy card is actually going to be using, where is it at? Where is it at? The Notes of Nature. I really love that one for guys because I love these background pieces and stuff to make something. So we're going to be using that on Thursday to create a beautiful card that can be used with different colors for women versus men. But we're going to make a guy card. I hope to see you guys here back Thursday at 4 p.m. Oh, that was the thing. Next week, y'all go on, and I say y'all because Arizona doesn't change time. Next week, we will be starting at 5 for the summer. For, what is it? Spring forward? Fall back? Whatever. Whatever that thing is. Daylight savings time. We will be moving to 5 p.m. until daylight savings time is done. Why, you ask, Eva? Somebody asked me why. Go ahead, put it in there. Why? I'm just joking. Because otherwise, it will put my Central and East Coast friends out. Thanks, Kathy. You're always the best. It will put my Central and even my Mountain Time followers, and Central and Eastern followers back an hour, which may not work for everybody. So in order to keep the time the same, I'm going to move my time. Work for me? Yeah, it works for me. It's fine. So we'll be live at 5 for the season, for the summer hours, which will be awesome. I think it'll work. I get to nap a little later, prep in the morning, take a little nap, then I'm refreshed and I'm ready to hit the road running. And then I'd probably be posting more of the polls in the community area. Please do check out my community area. It's got lots of stuff, lots of pictures, information. And then I will be talking more about this journey back to Stampin' Up! in as we go along and stuff like that. But in the meantime, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe on your way out. Leave a little comment, not in the live chat, but in the regular comment section. Of course, if you know anybody who might like this video, share it. That would be great. Until Thursday, take care. Stay crafty, my friends. Stay crafty. And thanks for joining me. Now the awkward button push. It's just awkward. It's just awkward. I'm going to poke you. It's awkward. Bye.